Yeah, but Arsenal's just low standards. Those would be count. I'm talking about a big club. Yeah.
What do you do with people like this? What do you do?
What's going on, people? Oh, Shea, outlandish one. Listen, we got a mad show today, yeah? Special guest, straight out of Liverpool, Mr. LA, Mr. Silky, yeah? He's traveled all around the world doing his football freestyling. He's worked with countless legends, done Soccer Aid. He also did the 2016-17 kit launch for Liverpool as well. This man's been everywhere. He's a good friend of mine. We go way back, Mr. Richard Braithwaite, Mr. Silky Skills.
My name's Richard Braithwaite and they call me Mr. Silky Skills. I'm a professional football freestyler from Liverpool and I'm one of the oldest freestylers in Britain. At the age of 49, people say I'm still going strong. I've been football freestyling for 16 years now. I started in 2003. I worked in a youth club called the Methodist Centre in Toxteth and I was there voluntary from the age of 19. I just had the ability to engage young people from all walks of life. Made some real dreams come true. I then took my skills around the world. This is what I'm all about, and I have been since I've been 19. The only way we're going to prevent the crime is by integrating the young people. Once we integrate the young people, friendships are built. Coming from Toxteth, a lot of my friends have been stabbed, a lot of my friends have been killed now, and it's just so sad. We need to just continue to come together and put down the knives and be creative, you know, and enjoy life.
Oh man, amazing. Listen, the guest, Mr. Silky Skills. What are you telling me, Rich, man? You good?
I'm good. Pleasure to be involved, guys. And
yeah, man.
Just discuss what I've done throughout my time.
The pleasure is all ours, man. You are a legend, bruv. You're known throughout Liverpool. You know, people know who you are, man. And the honor is all of ours to get you on the show, man.
Yeah, like I said, yeah. I don't know if you can hear me. Like I said, it's a pleasure for me to always, you know, meet people, discuss, perform, teach. It's just always a pleasure to meet new people and make new friends, and that's what my life's been about, really.
Yeah, man. So without you know going too much, first of all, how did you fall in love with the game? Because football freestyling is still football. So what made you love the sport? Out of all the sports that were around, you know, what made you fall in love with the game of football?
I mean, from an early age, we lived in a multicultural area. Toxteth's a very multicultural area, and
yeah.
Am I loud enough? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can all hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're just lagging a bit.
There's a bit of lag.
Yeah. So maybe hop out and come out and hop back in. That'll help. No? Sorry,
Yeah,
people,
Rich, if you,
people
no,
difficulties.
it's fine. Yeah,
We
no,
live
look,
in
it
a
happens.
modern day of technology.
Yeah,
We've
one
got
second,
iPhone
just
58, and yet we still have technical difficulties. I don't
trying
get
to
it.
make things a bit clearer.
No, it's no worries, man. It's fine, Rich, man. Don't worry about it.
No worries.
Is that okay?
Yeah, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Bro, if you can hear us, try come out of the stream and come back in. That'll help. Can you hear us?
How's that?
I don't
Yeah,
know if
I
you
can
can
hear
hear
you.
Yeah, that's
Right, come out.
there's just a bit of a delay. There's just a bit of a delay. So when we ask you a question, there's a bit of a few seconds of silence, and then you reply to us. So I think there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, but maybe that'll be fixed. If he comes out and comes back in, that might be fixed.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
you want to jump out and jump back on, that might
Yeah.
just sort itself out.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. So,
Okay.
yeah, back to the first question. So, what made you fall in love with football? What got you into the actual game of football?
Okay, so yeah, I was saying as a youngster, my father used to always speak about this guy, Kevin Keegan.
Yeah,
He always spoke
legend.
about this guy. He said, "What's this guy? What's this little fella, Kevin Keegan?" And I was like, okay. So I just started watching this guy, and I was like, he was just banging in goal. He seemed so short, and I was like, well, I'm short. I'm not going to grow much taller than what I am, So there's a future here, definitely. But this guy was an absolute legend, and it was around that we were playing football. And I think it's a good name for everyone to go off. Kevin Keegan is, he was a star, and then obviously, that was, he was a Liverpool supporter. My dad was a Liverpool supporter, so obviously he was gonna choose a player for the look at. But then obviously, as we were getting older and so on, we had, Cyril Regis, Craig, just so many.
Yeah, so many
people
legends,
that
man.
Well.
Okay. So what led you on to the freestyling? Because I know you said that you did a lot of football as a youngster. So what led you on to the freestyling? And what got you into that? How did you sort of enter that world?
Again, it was all about football first, and then growing up all the way through the teens, I carried on playing football. And I just had my own style, and people used to say, your style's silky. You've got a silky style. You take people on, and the goals that you scored, and so on. So transition from football to freestyle. I'd say it was a natural thing, because I always juggled the ball when I played football anyway.
Right.
I had the basic skills. I didn't know nothing about freestyle. I just had basic skills. From football to freestyle, the youth club where I played and where I worked, it was constant football all the time. And the young people there, the young people that attended the Methodist Centre, it was all about football for all of us, So then I left this youth centre to pursue a different type of dream, and I went into events, and that's where football freestyle came in. So it was playing football throughout my time. I got to the age of 30, and then moved on to football freestyle.
Right. So let's talk about, because you work with a lot of young people. You've worked with myself. That's how I know Mr. Silky over here. He worked with me when I was a bit younger, about 16, 17. So, your work with young people in especially within the Toxteth area, because, my family on my mother's side come from Toxteth originally. So I know a bit about, the area and how did you sort of get into that part of it, where I know you said you worked in the youth centre, but you know, engaging with young people from Toxteth and getting young kids off the streets and sort of getting them into football. How did that sort of come about? I know, like you said, you worked in a youth centre, but obviously you've ventured out and spoken to other young people, not necessarily in the youth centre. So how did that part? Where did your sort of drive for that come from to sort of do that?
Yeah, sorry. Again, it was through.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Through the youth. Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, it all stemmed from the youth work that I'd done, but I also went out and done outreach work. So it was of me being in one place. I was out in the community, and because I gained that respect from parents and young, that led to me gaining a title as a role model. So when that title, it allowed me to engage with young people that mightn't have engaged with a lot of, you know, older folk. It was just a case of the respect was there. I knew how to speak to the young people. That's where that bond and that gel came from, you know. So it was a natural progression from working inside a youth club to being outside on the streets. That was natural for me, out and engaging with young people, but from all walks of life as well. It wasn't just about I'm from Toxteth and I'm about meeting these young people together. And it was a natural progression for me.
Yeah, it's the integration. I noticed something key you said in your video. Integration is the key to getting these young people into doing something productive. And you know what? I couldn't have worded it better myself, man. And I can remember from a young person. I mean, you remember me when I was young, Richard. I was very hot-headed, very high-tempered, and you know. Some people will say I still am, but yeah, it's you know, that integration. We all are, yeah, man. We all are a little bit, but yeah, it's that integration. I think I've noticed even doing these shows, you know, meeting people like Prime and the other guys I do shows with. That really does help, you know, in terms of your overall morale and you know, football is such a beautiful sport. I've noticed it brings people together. It changes people's perspective on one another, and it really does sort of bring together a common ground that even if people disagree, you know, from different teams, we all have one main focus, and that's the love of the sport. So yeah, man, it's absolutely incredible. I want to talk about Liverpool a little bit and what you've done with them, because you've worked with Liverpool, haven't you? You've done a bit of work with the club.
How did you even get to do that? To end up from, you know, just being a freestyler and working with the youth. How did you get to transition to working with your club, you know, the club you support?
Okay. Well, first, I mean, I've got to give a big shout out to a family friend called Charlie Seeley, and we call him the Master C. He's a DJ. Now, when I done my first tournament, the actual freestyle tournament that I delivered in Toxteth, in the Toxteth Sports Centre, his family friend is a friend with John Barnes.
Right, yeah.
He brought John Barnes. My friend brought John Barnes to my tournament to launch it for me. So John Barnes actually launched Silky Skills for me.
Wow.
So then from there, me having discussions with John Barnes, also through my friend, and then I had the ultimate pleasure of at Liverpool at the stadium for Kenny Dalglish's wife, Marina Dalglish Appeal, which is a charity.
Wow.
So I performed with my 5 daughters at Anfield for Kenny Dalglish and his wife. So,
wow.
I mean, that was, you know, he is the legend.
Yeah, you know, King Kenny. Wow.
King Kenny, you know, and the legend Barnes. He just set me up and I just put the ball in the back of the net, and the next thing I'm at Anfield performing. So, you know,
what you said? So you essentially scored at Anfield.
No, I'm saying, you know, not in a literal sense. I'm saying it was like Kenny Dalglish to Barnes to Mr. Silky Skills, and then next thing I'm middle of the pitch.
Do you know what I think would be great?
So
Do you know what I'd love to see? And maybe one day we could get this done in the future. But you know what I'd love? For you to be doing your skills alongside John Barnes singing 3 Lions on My Chest. That would be amazing. Do you know what I'm saying? That would be absolutely fantastic, man. Could you imagine? You've got to move and dive, but do it, and you're just doing the skills, man. That would be fantastic, man.
Yeah, I think we can make that happen. I think I can get Barnes to do something like that, and I can do some skills with him. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
we can make that happen.
He's what a legend. What a legend, John Barnes, man. So you did the kit launch, didn't you, in 2016-17?
Yeah. It was I was kindly invited to the Liverpool Pierhead to deliver skills for the crowd to launch the New Balance kit, and again that was, pardon me, that was an honour. I was performing in front of our crowd, and I had a little routine that I said that I'd do. I have a skip and rope routine.
Yeah.
You've seen where I can jam one ball on. So I had one ball on my foot and my shin, and I had another ball on my hamstring and my heel, and I was skipping with balls. And the crowd did respond, but the volume seemed to have gone up a little bit. And I turned round, and Robbie Fowler was behind me. So Robbie Fowler was behind me when I turned round, and Robbie Fowler's just standing there. So, you know, wow, I mean, again, another legend. So I put the skipping rope. I gave him, he started skipping. But, you know, but he started skipping. And then from there, I had to take advantage. Sorry, I had to take advantage of this moment with Robbie Fowler. So I said to Robbie, come on, let's do some headers together. So we started heading the ball with each other, and the crowd just went berserk. It was absolutely amazing.
Wow. You know what? I've only ever met one legend. I don't know, was you there actually, Rich, when Bal took us to you remember Bal, don't you? When Bal took us to he took us to a game. He was playing a charity match with his organization, and Alan Kennedy with his wife was there. And so I'm there talking to Alan Kennedy, got a picture with him, and he was looking at me kind of funny, like, how does this young kid know who I am? He's like 16 years old, and I'm just there, just faces from red, and I'm like, I'm talking to Alan Kennedy. I'm like, you're right, sir. I've been speaking to his wife for like the past hour and a half, because she was she'd been speaking to, you remember Mo, don't you? She'd been speaking to Mo, and she was sat with us and stuff. So there was no reason for me to be nervous, but as soon as I approached him, I'm like, oh, Alan, you're all right, sir. I turned into like a pubescent child. I was like, you're all right, Alan, hello. Just proper scared. But yeah, God, it's Robbie Fowler. Wow, that must have been amazing. So like after that, did you guys have like any sort of interaction or anything, or was it kind of like he came to the show and how did that sort of conclude?
The Robbie Fowler thing. The Robbie Fowler. Yeah. I mean, we had the chat. We're both from the same area. We're both from Toxteth. We had a little chat.
I didn't know he's from Turkey. I didn't know he was from Turkey.
Yeah, Robbie from Toxteth as well. Yeah. So, but the thing is, you know, they address Robbie as God, but what a lot of people don't realize is there's one God up in the heavens. There's another God, Robbie Fowler, so they say. But there's another God in me as well, because I can score goals just as good as Robbie Fowler when I played football. Yeah, instinctive.
I've seen it firsthand, man. Look.
Yeah. I was as instinctive as anyone. I've scored in goals. People used to call me Ian Wright, you know. So I was magic at scoring, and the proof is there. For the next live, we'll get some of my friends on they'll tell you more about it. The trophies that my friends have got, they're on account of me scoring all the goals every season.
Yeah, man. Look, I seen it firsthand, man. Look, when Silky used to work with me, he spent ages trying to teach me this one skill, and it was rainbow flick, but where I'd run off and he'd pass the ball to me essentially like a fast grounded pass, and I'd have to run onto the ball and rainbow flick it, and it took me ages to learn how to do it. But yeah, I saw it firsthand, man. The guy is incredible. I mean, when I knew you was in your 40s still, and you were still faster than everybody else. I was out of breath. You know, like the guy just doesn't stop, man. And we trained at the gym for a few sessions, and I mean, he's like a machine. I don't know if he's gone. What's happened? I think he's
he'll be back in the probably connection or something. But no, it's mad because, like, you know, I've played, you know, football and stuff and things like that, and you know, when I first got into football, I played in goal, and then I came out and played other positions. But like, whenever I play in the forwards, like, you know, as a winger, as a 10 or a striker or whatever, you know, I more or less kind of keep it basic because I didn't do, you know, the step overs or flicks or whatever because I just wasn't good at that, no matter how much I tried and practiced. So to see people who are just naturally talented at doing it, you know, it's not just the fact of you can do a basic step over or rainbow flick, but you're doing all these sort of stuff like we just saw in the video, like it's nothing. You're doing it with 2 balls and stuff like that, like with ease. I just find that a bit crazy. Like, do you practice certain tricks or, like, say, structure certain routines?
Yeah. I know. Do you know what? I always smile and I always laugh when people ask me about, you know, how come you're doing things with 2 balls? And to be honest with you, I've always been like a creative type of person anyway. So when it came to the freestyle and I started learning more about it, and because I knew I was one of the oldest freestylers, it wasn't about me trying to compete with these youngsters because I know they'd blow me away. But the advantage that I had was that I was unique in what I was doing. So I had a unique style, and I wanted to continue to develop that style. So basically, the 2 balls idea, sorry about that. Yeah, the 2 balls. I just started. Look, we're all creative. We're all creative people, you know. And I just started expanding on things and going away, and then coming back training the next day. I was training like 7 hours a day. 7 hours a day training with 1 ball was just boring, and it was limiting myself. And
I was bored.
Imagine it takes us hours with 1 ball just to learn how to take a shot, and he's like, it was fucking bored. I'm like, it was boring. You know what I mean?
And like when you're at events and you're doing stuff, are these the things that you're doing? Is it things you've practiced so you know I'm not going to screw up, or have you randomly just done something on the fly because you think it will look good, but you haven't tried it before?
No, I mean, you know, if I'm gonna do a big performance, I'm not gonna try things that I've dreamt about or I've wrote down. Actually gonna I'm actually gonna do what I've practiced in a show, in a big performance. But that a funny little story is where the creativity came from. Is I used to take a pen and paper to bed and just leave it on the side, or leave it on the side, on the floor or on the side, and I would think about moves. Just strangely, I would think about football. I would think about football freestyle moves, and before you continue to sleep, I'd jump up and I'd write it down. And then I'd look at it in the morning and go, wow. And then I'd go and practice that. And that's where the creativity came from as well. It was, bizarre, you know.
You know what? I'm gonna use that for my music. I'm gonna use that for my music and my writing scripts, man. That concept, I'm gonna use that, man, because that would help me so much to do that.
Well, it's that thought process. Once you get the thought, if you build on the thought that you've just got, it's gonna become. You're gonna make something of it. So me doing that, taking the pen and paper. Things down.
Yeah, definitely. It's that's look, writing your ideas down is the one thing that you have to do when you're a creative person. It's yeah, it's something you're supposed to do. As a musician, look, I've got songs and I write scripts for stuff, and behind the scenes I write scripts and things like that. And writing it down is the ultimate thing you must do. People love to keep things in here, or writing your ideas down is the first key to any sort of success in any invention, idea, or new concept that you're having. I'll honestly, and it also helps you to sort of, I've noticed as well, like when I'm writing, like if I'm writing something for a TV show or something like that, like my ideas will start to expand the more I'm writing. So I'll write something down, and then it will, because I've wrote it down, my writer's block will kind of end. Like if I'm just thinking about something, I'll only be able to think of one thing, and then I'll get a writer's block. As soon as I put pen to paper, the next scene comes out in my head, and it's yeah. So
it's easier when you can. Sorry, I was just gonna. It's always easier when you can visually see something instead of just thinking about it.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
So Silky, sorry, bro. Sorry, I'm just excited. That's why I keep talking fast, man. Sorry, bro. go on.
No. I was saying that's the process that we have to go through. That was my process, and it worked because, like Prime asked me earlier on, you know, about the moves. That's where it came from. Yeah. It's obviously coming from the mind. It's coming from the creativity. It's coming from the creative part of the mind, and then it's about jotting it down or trying to remember it. If you're in a sleep and you suddenly get an idea, once you continue to sleep, that idea is going to go. So that was just me having a pen, like I said, and writing it down. I'd go the next day and I'd train, and you know the staff would be like, I'd be in the Doctor Sports Centre earlier than some of the staff that was working there. It was like I should have had a key to let myself in because I was that eager to train. You know. Oh,
listen, man. I can tell you stories, Prime. Sorry, Rich. Yeah, man. I can tell you stories about Silky, man. 6 a.m. we'd go to the gym. 6 in the morning. This guy's got 20 years on me, and 6 a.m. this guy's awake saying, "Come on, lad, we're going to the gym now." And I'm still dreaming about sheep. I'm still dreaming about sheep, counting sheep, and he's like, "Come on, lad." I'm like, "What time? 6 a.m?" So yeah, he doesn't stop, man. He doesn't stop, and he's the Caribbean James Milner, because he just outdoes everybody. He's like a workhorse. We're in the gym, and he's doing more than me. He's doing better. It's just, and I'm younger. He's got 20 years on me, and he's just outperforming me and everything in the gym, and I'm just there, just like trying to keep up with him. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you said in your video, actually, I noticed something that you've been around the world. You took your skills around the world. Elaborate on that. So how did that happen? Where did you go? Who did you work with? What's that story about?
Okay. So again, can we hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Fine.
Yeah, we good?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, sorry, Prime.
No. You said you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Cool. Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, I have to give. Wow. This is an amazing story. So my nephews live in London, and I rang one of them and said, "There's a guy called Mr. Wu. He's from South Korea. From South Korea, and I need to go and meet him because at this point at freestyle, I was still new to freestyle. I was still just getting to know what freestyle was." And then I heard about this guy called Mr. Wu, and he was, you know, phenomenal. He was like the main man, you know, in the country. So I rang my nephew and said, "Listen, I'm gonna come to London. I'm gonna get in touch with this guy and pay for a session with this guy. But I need you to take me to him because obviously you know London. So I need you to take me to him." So long story short, gets my nephew. We contact the Wu. He says, "Yeah, I'm going to be at this place, this park. You get there. We'll have a session." we get there, we take photos, paid him the money. He's paid me back since. paid him the money, and we had about a 2-hour session, and I'm just watching him. I'm just in awe, and I'm absolutely wow. So this is freestyle, and he's looking at me now with my style, and he's going, "Wow, well, I've never seen that before. What you're doing." So from there, it wasn't just about me coming to pay someone to have a tea session. This was the building of a friendship. So we exchanged numbers. He actually took us out for something to eat after we had the session, and then we had exchanged numbers. And then he opened up the world of football freestyle to me, because he was already linked to all the freestylers that obviously I didn't know about. So from a session became a friendship, and then followed by that was me gathering with other freestylers, and then the ultimate happened. He asked me to go to South Korea with him and another legend, another football freestyle legend called Mike Delaney.
Delaney, and I know the name.
Delaney. He does a lot of choreography with him. Mike's CV is amazing. Mike's worked with Messi, Ronaldo. Listen, Mike's worked with everyone, but I had the honor to go to South.
Is that the first time you've been abroad? Was that the first time you got to go abroad?
Yes, that was my first trip abroad. But also I was scared of flying. I would refuse to go on a plane. So this Mr. Wu must have put me under some spell, because that flight, flight to South Korea, that was 11 and a half hours flight.
5 main courses on the flight. That's how long it is.
The whole family still can't believe that I went on a plane for 11 and a half hours. I couldn't believe it. I said to Mike, this guy's put me under some kind of spell, because there's no way I was going on a plane for 2 hours, never mind 11 and a half. But I think what it was his energy, his awe about him. You had to be around this guy. And we went and we filmed moves for the PlayStation game in South Korea. So we were doing the football freestyle moves for the game that they were creating. So that was.
So what game is this? What game is this?
No, so I mean, the game didn't develop as good as they wanted it to, but we still had the opportunity to go out there, and we done our freestyle moves. We met other freestylers, and we just went and done a job, and we were treated with, I mean, the most amazing hospitality from the South Korean, and it'll remain a favorite country of mine, forever more. And actually grateful to Mr. Wu for that opportunity. So that was when I first traveled.
What's your favorite thing about the country, like in terms of culture or food, or like?
Okay, for South Korea.
Yeah.
Did you say? Yeah.
Yeah, South Korea.
I just think it was, the hospitality was just absolutely, it was outstanding, totally outstanding. Wow. The food was wow. The food. Okay, so they offered me sushi. And I went, sushi's just not for me. I'm sorry. I just couldn't. I just couldn't conform to that. To be honest with you. And
take out the raw fish. Take out the raw fish. Fry it up with a bit of plantain, and I'm good. You want to give me the raw fish?
They understood. And then I started telling them about my mum's Bayesian snapper, you know, fully cooked and
Asian snapper. Wow.
You know, so I couldn't really dip on the you know, the rawness. So, but they understood, and the food that we did have was amazing. Same way. But yeah, just beautiful people, hospitality. You know, 10 out of 10. Food, the culture, just the appreciation that they showed you when you was when I was performing my skills. You know, it's just beautiful. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
So where else have you traveled? You've been to South. Sorry to cut you off. That was sorry to cut you off. I'm just you've been to South Korea.
So South
Where
Korea.
else? Yeah.
Just I mean, you know, I've also got to say that I did turn down a lot of jobs. You know, because again, I weren't big on traveling. I weren't big on flying. So that one to South Korea could have lasted me a lifetime. Those 11 and a half hours. You know, but from there, I performed in Greece. Okay, let me say England, Scotland, Wales, Greece. Performed in Spain a few times. Portugal, which Portugal, I must say, is another beautiful country as well.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, opportunities to travel to so many different places, but didn't take them. I think one regret, although I don't have many regrets in life, but what other people said to me, oh, you regret not going there, is I had an opportunity to go to Dubai, but I actually turned it down and gave a kid a go. I actually gave a youngster an opportunity to go to Dubai.
Yeah.
Which me, I mean,
the next time you get an opportunity to go to Dubai, if you turn it down, listen, I'm happy to fill in for you, man.
I'll set you too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, take me. No, O'Shea. He's had enough. Take me.
I've had enough. I've been around the world, man. I've traveled everywhere. So I think I've had enough traveling so far from my young age, man. Prime.
So other than Dubai, what other places have you then turned down? Because if you've been to, you know, the rest of the UK, Greece, Portugal, and you turned down Dubai, what other places have you turned down?
So I was invited to go to Indonesia. I had missed an opportunity to go to Austria, because that little story was I was actually working in Old Course Prison. I was working in Old Course Prison in Liverpool, and obviously you can't take your phones into a prison. So my phone was in the car. So when I finished my session, me 6 hours in Old Course Prison, and I got back to Mark, I seen that I had a number of messages and a couple of missed calls. And one of the missed calls was off a close friend called Martin Dale, which I'll go on to tell you a little bit more about that guy. But yeah, so I checked my phone and I had a missed call. So I rang him and I said, "Hi, Mark, you okay? What's happening?" And he goes, "Rich." He always called me Silky. He said, "Silky, you've missed an opportunity." And I was like, "What is it? I've just finished work." And he goes, "I had a job there for you to perform in Austria." And I was like, "Oh, no." And he goes, "Yeah, and I've got the freestylers now, so it's over. You can't go." And I was like, "Okay, no problem. I know obviously you're gonna get me something else." So that would
have been like, you missed that because of Old Course. I would have been saying to the governor, "Listen, all of these man, put them on lockdown for 24 hours. Don't get them no." I would have been fuming. People ain't having their conjugals this week, boy. I would have been fuming. But yeah, so
no, but listen, I didn't mind missing it, because again, it might have been a case of when I got home, it might have been a case of me ringing him and saying, "Mark, you know what? I've had a think and I don't really want to travel." So the work that I was actually delivering in Alco's prison was just as beneficial for me traveling, you know, working with the guys. When I went into the prison, all I could hear was Richard and Silky. You're like, there's Richard and there's Silky. That's all I was hearing, because obviously I knew a number of the youngsters that was in prison. So when they see me, that was just like, you could just imagine, it was like, wow, he's one of the guys that, you know, not looked up to because they were all taller than me, looked down at, but also looked up to me in respectfulness. Yeah, so to see a lot of the lads that I haven't seen for a number of years, that was brilliant for me, because then I could obviously encourage them and say, listen, you know, you got to get out of here. You know, you got to do your thing and just get out there, do your best you can do. You know, get downstairs and just make a path for yourself, man. And that was nice words of wisdom that I've been able to pass on to the guys, and obviously the guys that I didn't know as well. You know, so it was all encouragements. Missing that job wasn't a big problem.
Which like I don't know any freestylers personally, but you know, we all know in the YouTube world right now, F2 are, I would say, probably the biggest freestylers. Do you know about them?
As in, who
you work with any, like in terms of freestyle?
No, I mean,
sorry, no, yeah, you go. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So, well, I have close friends in football freestyle now, because it's a family. But you know, I've had the pleasure of freestyling with a close friend who's a Northwest freestyler, and his name's John Farnworth.
John Farnworth.
John Farnworth. He's just an amazing guy. All the freestylers are amazing that I know. This guy's just, wow. We just hit it off when we met, and being Northern, you know, we obviously had that bond. He's Manchester United supporter. I'm a Liverpool supporter. You know how it goes from there. It's just full on banter. You know, we call Liverpool and the derby rather than Liverpool Everton. You know, it's a derby. So you know, every time that game.
That's the derby. That's the derby. That has to. Listen, you've heard it here. You've heard it here first, guys. From a pro football freestyler. Listen, Everton fans, it's not the derby. Yeah, we don't. There's only two teams in Liverpool and the reserve team. So there's no derby with us, Everton. It's United and Liverpool.
And they both only have one Premier League title. Anyway, which footballers have you got to? Is Indiana asked? Which pro impressed you the most in the game with skills, etc. So, like you growing up watching football, you mentioned, you know, some of your Liverpool, you know, greats and heroes. But outside of Liverpool, which footballers have you looked up to in terms of skills and stuff?
Sorry, are you saying, you was breaking up a little bit there? Are you saying which footballers have excited me, basically?
Yeah,
with skills. Yeah.
That you've watched or maybe you've got to work with outside of, you know, like Liverpool players.
Yeah. Well, again, I've met a lot of legends, met a lot of the old school legendary footballers. But for me and football and skills, I think Ronaldo's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he incorporates football, street football, and some actual silky skills as well. You know, so that's a guy that I've looked at him for. This guy's he is top of the tree. Definitely. Yeah. You know,
not a lot of people know that Cristiano does freestyling. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, he's a freestyler, Cristiano, and he's phenomenal. Him and Ronaldinho for me were the best at skills.
Yeah, he's it's just like a package what he's got. You know, like I said, the freestylers that I know, Mike Delaney's had the pleasure of working with Cristiano Ronaldo, so he's actually taught him some moves for when they've done the advertisements that they've done. So Cristiano can freestyle, you know, another freestyler that I've known, that I've worked with, Jeremy Lynch and Billy Wingrove. You know,
Jeremy Lynch and Billy Wingrove, they're F2, yeah.
Yes, so they're the F2, and you know, I know them guys. I've worked with them. I've actually performed with Billy, and me and Billy have had a bit of a duel. We've had a bit of a battle. That's another story. So, but going back to Prime and footballers and who have excited me throughout the time, I've just got to go back to the guy that actually launched my program, which is Silky Skills, and that's John Bob. I know we're going back, but you know what? It was just an absolute different level of skill that John Barnes had, and obviously bringing it to modern times, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo. So you know what? Wow.
And both started out on the left.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Amazing.
Speaking of which, I mean, like you said, you used to play before you started getting into freestyle. What position?
Yeah. Oh, what
position did you used to play? Yeah.
I was striker. I started on the left wing. I started playing football on the wing because obviously I could move, I can run pretty fast. But then I became a striker, out and out striker.
And as a striker, how did you have time to be flicking over defenders' heads and like how did you have time to even like, you know, end up finding out that you have this sort of skill and talent? Like how did you end up even finding that out?
Yeah. I mean, again, with me just practicing how to do basic skills like your kick ups and your knee ups and your head on the ball and chest on the ball, that allowed me to, when the ball came to me, that allowed me to control the ball. So I would control the ball on my knee, for example, 1 or 2 of the goals that I did score, I would control the ball on my knee, knowing that confidently when this defender was coming to me, I could flick it over his head and then volley it, because I knew I had that control to do that, where a lot of people might go to control and fumble it and the swing at a ball. I knew I could confidently control a ball on my chest, on my knee, on my foot to bring it back up. So that was also a part of the game that I had, which was an advantage, because as we all know, people like the ball on the floor. A lot of people don't like the ball in the air. But in the air is where I've scored most of my goals. As a short guy, I had to get my timing right then as well. So when I leaped, the timing that enabled me to out jump. There was a joke that was going around that all the 6-footers defenders, we used to say, someone marked the big fella, meaning me. But but I was the smallest on the pitch. So but you know, I laughed about it because I knew then that they were relying on the height that they had, but they weren't considering the spring that I had and the timing. So I did out jump a few people, but some of my,
do you know what you see that?
Some of my silky goals. Sorry.
No, go on, Richie. Go on. I'll hold my point. It's fine. Go on.
Yeah. No. I was just saying some of my finest goals came from me controlling the ball. So going back to Prime, saying about the how did you have that confidence to do that? That was just through practice. And some of my greatest goals that I ever scored were overhead kicks. So overhead kicks, you know, you tee the ball up with your chest, and then you just go into your overhead kick. And that was like one of the best goals that I've ever scored in my life, overhead kicks. But without that control, you're not gonna, you can't go overhead kick without that control. And that's what I teach young people today. Control is everything. If you can control the ball, that enables you to do wonderful things. Control is everything.
Yeah, man. Let me. Do you know what? It's funny. You were talking about your jumping and, you know, being a short guy and how you'd still jump and beat defenders. We see that today at Liverpool with Sadio Mane. he's not the tallest in out of the group of players, and even in terms of size, he's not the biggest. But oh my God, can he leap off the ground and whip a ball in and beat defenders to the ball? He's absolutely phenomenal at that. And it's funny because he plays on the left as well. There's a little bit of a pattern going on here with the left side and footballers, man. There's a bit of a pattern with that. But yeah, we see that, and that precision to be able to just jump up and hit the ball out of nowhere, or bring it down to your chest, knowing that the other defenders around you are bigger than you. That must have taken some practice. That must have taken some real dedication.
Yeah, definitely. Again, you know, it's total dedication. You know, total dedication. And like I said, Prime, it was about me, after me writing down my skills, it was about me then going to practice them. And I used to practice for like 6 or 7 hours a day in like I said, in the Toxteth Sports Centre. Big shout out to the Toxteth Sports Centre where I learnt my craft.
Is that the Caribbean Centre?
Yeah, it was it's just constant training, perfecting every part of your body the ball could come to.
Do you still are you still freestyling and going to events now, or have you retired?
Yeah, I'm still actually freestyling. I'm 51. I'm one of the oldest freestylers in Britain. And yeah, you know, I'm still. You know what? I think I should get a lot more shows than what I do. We'll discuss that at a later time. We'll discuss that again. But yeah, I'm still there. I'm still there. You know, I'm still ready to go and perform at Anfield, at Goodison, Man United, Man City. That's where I have performed. West Ham. So you know what? I'm ready to go and perform in those big crowds once again. You know. So no, I haven't.
Well, look that. Well, look, that's I can see that on the cards for you anyway, man, because you've transcended what we know as football freestyle, man. Like I've from when we stopped working together, I started like looking you up and stuff on YouTube and seeing some of the things that you've done, and it's like, you know, like you said, you're one of the oldest freestylers, and to still outperform the work rate is incredible, second to none, and it's unique. Like you said, I've never seen anyone do the skills that you do with the balls on the back of your calf and your heel, and then, you know, the press up thing that you did in front of me when we were in Worcestershire, and you did the press up thing, and I was just like, what? Like, how is this guy doing all of this? And then you get back up, and it's like there's no problem. You know what look he did? You remember when Naby Keita scored that goal the other day, and he did that look? That's the look Richard does, like as if to say, what are you looking at, lad? It's just another day in the office. It's just no ease. It's just ease. It's just simple ease, man. He just puts no effort into it. It's like it rolls off the. It's mad. It's mad. And it like you said, working with you, I've noticed that you, like you say, you very much focus on precision and control. You were trying to get me to learn how to chest the ball down and control it onto my foot for quite a while. So I've noticed that's your main thing is control. What I do want to ask, what is next for you before we get on to football and Liverpool and how that's going this season? What's next for Mr. Silky Skills? What can we expect next from you?
Wow. You know what you say? What's funny? I've done a lot. I've done a hell of a lot. Not so much as what's next. It's what I have to continue with is give guidance to our young people, teach, and that's going to come through the skills. That's going to come through talking to them. Just giving them that guidance, what not a lot of young people get. Not a lot of young people have that guidance mechanism around them. So that's always been my job, my role, my goal in life is to not only look after my own young people, my own children, but to try my hardest with others. You know,
Well, you did that with me, man. You did that with me, and
you know, And it
sorry, go on.
to get it helps, like, you know, you help me you helped me to give you that guidance, because as we know, there's a lot of young people out there that might just want to just say fire and I'm not listening to that, man. You can't tell me nothing. But unless you listen, that's, you know, you'll take on board and you can then heed the warnings. You know, that's all it's all about. It's not about dictation. You know, it's about me and giving guidance. And that's the balance that I've got with knowing how to speak to young people and adults alike. Like I've always said, I'll always give everyone respect. But once disrespected, then it's a different story. But I'll always give everyone respect and give everyone that guidance. So what's next for me is continuing the work that I do before I retire. And you know what? And just giving thanks to God, man. And that, you know what, I've had this lifetime that I've had, and I've made so many friends, and, you know, I'm a genuine man, you know.
Yeah, man.
And I just want to continue to make my family proud. You know, I just got to say a big thanks to yourself, man, because you've come a long way and you're doing really well, and you linked up with your boy here, Prime, and the band that you're having is amazing.
Listen, I have to say, if it wasn't for this guy, if it wasn't for Prime, I don't know what I would be doing with this YouTube thing, man, because as much as I'm very much an entertainer and I like to, you know, behind the scenes, I do work with other organizations, write for certain shows and stuff like that. Prime is very much, he keeps everything balanced and grounded for me. You know, he does, and I'd be lost without him. I'm a tech guy. But yourself, Richmond, I have to give a big shout out to you, because even though I guess looking back in hindsight, I didn't take a lot of what I could have done on board when you was working with me for the period of time. The stuff you, as an adult now, I'm 20 now, and you know, looking back, man, you helped me a lot, man. Yourself and Marcus. I don't know if you met Marcus, the Brummy guy. Yeah, you did actually. You worked with him. You and Marcus, you know, did definitely help me a lot, especially yourself with the football. Just those sessions as well. Really, in the long term, have helped my skills, because you saw me. I couldn't control a ball for shit. I was 2 left feet. I was moving like who was that brother that played for England? The big, tall, lanky brother, Carlton Palmer. I was controlling the ball like Carlton Palmer. So but yeah, man, you definitely helped me with that, man. So big shout out to you, man. You're a genuine guy. You're a good brother, man, and you've done a lot for people, young people, man. And you know, I kind of feel like maybe you don't get the exposure that you deserve, man, because really you should be doing TV work and stuff like that, man. And it's, I mean, I'm a strong believer of manifesting what you say, and I'm saying it now. You will get that TV work, and you will. I'm sure I'll see you working with Ronaldo at some point, because your skills are second to none, man, and your work rate. That's the main thing I've noticed with Rich, is his work rate, man. He doesn't stop. He just doesn't stop. He's the Beijing James Milner, man. He doesn't stop. He just, do you know what I mean? He just doesn't stop, man. So
hold on. Speaking of people who...
go on, Prime.
No, you continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say on that note. I mean, you know, I didn't quite mention what we said where I travelled. Yeah, but there was obviously more. I was writing down a few things this afternoon, and yeah, I have had the opportunity again. Like I said, I've been fortunate. I've been blessed. You know, I've had the opportunity. I've toured with Sky Sports. You know, Sky Sports, the Masters. So the Legends. So I was touring with the Legends. So when the Legends were playing with each other, I was following them, and I was touring with them. You know, I've had commentary from the legend himself of Sky Sports, Jim White. Jim White done commentary on my skills. I was chosen out of the world of actors and footballers and football freestylers to do the African Cup of Nations advert in 2008. So, you know, so I was representing Ghana.
No. We don't do Ghana over here, no.
He's Nigerian, Richard. He's right. He's Nigerian. That's why he's saying we don't do Ghana, because he's Nigerian.
Hey, Prime. When's the last time you won the African Cup of Nations?
2012 was it? 2013. When's the last time England won a trophy?
That's a low blow, man. We're not competing in the African Cup of Nations here.
No, you guys are English. You guys are English. It's not a low. Actually, no, you're American. When's the America just won a trophy? Okay. I'll allow you. But England, no.
Bro, okay. 1 sec. Can I just, before we go off track here, if you're gonna talk about us because we grew up in England and what has England won, fam, you're Irish. What the hell has Ireland ever won?
I'm Nigerian. When it comes to country, I'm a glory hunter. I'll admit that. So.
One of us started. That guys. One of us
no, it's cool. So, actually, a question I have, what was and O'Shea? Don't talk during this. What was O'Shea like when he was younger? Little troublemaker. What was he like?
Say that again. Sorry.
What was O'Shea like when he was younger?
Yeah. Good guy. Again, many youngsters who I've worked with, look, we all have a tendency to be a bit of a hothead at some point in our lives. But like I said, if you, like Shea did, if you take on board that, do you know what? I can give this guy a minute or 10 minutes of my time to listen to him. That's what I go off. If I'm not getting nothing at all from a youngster or from an adult, it's pointless me talking to them and giving them my insight and my knowledge. He gave me that. He gave me the opportunity to talk to him by listening to me. So, you know what? For me, that was all I need to build on that. And now from what Shea's saying, that Richard, you helped me. That was because he helped himself. He helped himself.
Yeah, man.
And that goes a long way because we're now, because if he didn't help himself any disrespect to, we wouldn't be here right now. Because I'm no one's fool.
Yeah.
And he proved that. So he was a good. Listen, we all have the tendency to have a hothead, and we all have a tendency not to want to listen, but he listened. It's the most important thing. Got to listen. If you listen, you learn. I listened to myself. I went on to learn great things with the football. Like I said, it took me around the world. It's given me TV opportunities. I'm regarded as a legend, a role model, an ambassador of integration, a specialist in youth engagement, a specialist in workshop delivery. I've had a good time. So
yeah, man. Look, you are a legend. You are definitely, man. And I have to say thanks to you, man, because like I said, I know you said I helped myself, but the work you did with me was fantastic. And I just, man, you're a genuine good guy, and there's a shortage of those people out there, especially in the industry of celebrity football, all of that. A lot of people aren't really genuine, but you are still a people's person, man. You grew up in Turkey, and that's you through and through, and you can't take that away from you, man. So let's go on to Liverpool, because we've already done an hour so far, which we've gone over the time, and but we're all having fun. So last 10-15, let's go on to Liverpool. You're outnumbered today, Prime. Usually I'm the one who's outnumbered with Chelsea fans and United fans, but now today Prime's outnumbered. So
I've got more Premier League titles, it's fine.
19 versus 6. But okay.
Premier League.
Are we gonna go off a name change, are we, Prime?
Well, it's my lifetime. I can only go what I've seen, so I don't know. Premier League.
Okay, well, you're Irish and you support Chelsea, but yeah, there we. Anyway, let's move on. Liverpool, man. What are you thinking about this season, man? We flopped last season. As much as it was great to finish third in the league, man. To not retain a title is a bit embarrassing. So, where do you think what do you think we do this season, and what do you think our problems could be to fix that if we don't?
Okay, look, big respect to Klopp, the recruitment, the team, for at least winning us a title. We are so happy. We'll never forget it. It was so long it was so long in waiting for that title. So big up to the team. Last season, we done phenomenal to even get into Champions League, because I was looking and thinking, every game I was thinking, we're going to end up 9th or 10th here. We're going to end up, we're not even going to get into Europe. This was last season, I was thinking, because when you lose quality players and your players are just dropping like flies, and you're thinking, wow, what is going on? You know, to get into the Champions League, Beck, that was just phenomenal. That was a great season for us last season, considering what we went.
How important
this season now? It's early days. Yeah, sorry.
No, sorry. Actually, you were even going to get to what I was going to ask anyway. So sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just saying it's early days in the season. You've got to. I mean, we the three of us discussed it briefly earlier on. We've got to defend better. We've got to defend a lot better than what we did against Brentford. You know, listen, every team, it's 11 strong men against 11 strong men. Forget about where they've come from or, you know, what league they've played in. It's 11 strong men. You've got to stick to your task. You cannot defend like that. If you're going to then play, if you're going to go and play Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, you just can't defend like that. So for us, still get the point, what we mentioned, we didn't lose. How come you're doing things with two?
It feels like a loss though, Rich. It feels like a loss for me. I know Brentford, people are going to sit there and say, well, Brentford are going to take points from a lot of the big clubs this season. I know they beat Arsenal earlier in the season. Similar to what Leeds did last season, first game of the season for us. But that's not an excuse, man. You know, it wasn't an excuse last season to concede 3 against Leeds. And it's certainly not an excuse this season to concede 3 against Brentford. That's 2 years in the trot, a team that's just been promoted from the Championship, that hasn't played in the Premier League for over 20 years, that has scored 3 goals against us. And I look at it and I think to myself, you know, where do we go from here as a club? You know, Salah is phenomenal. He scores 20 goals a season, but we can't keep relying on him. Mane seems like he's not really. I thought it was just last season, but even this season, he doesn't really seem to be the same goal scorer that he was when we won the Champions League. We know Firmino's declined anyway. You know, Thiago's out injured, Harvey Elliott's out injured. We didn't replace Wijnaldum. I kind of think, where do we go from here? We have to, and my only conclusion is the transfer window. We have to sign players. We need to sign some fresh young players, and we need to get that fire back in the club, because the eye of the tiger's gone. You know, the eye of the tiger's gone. We don't have that same drive as we used to, and we need some quality players. The only player that has that drive in the club for me, there's 2, and that's Salah and Jota. Jota because he's a new player and he's trying to make a name for himself coming from Wolves, and Salah because he's just an animal. He's hungry and he never stops. Other than that, the players are good. The players are world class, so they perform great, but that hunger isn't there anymore. And I've noticed that even with the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, I kind of feel like as much as he put in an amazing performance against Brentford in terms of his delivery and his crossing, that hunger that he had, where he'd come up with craziness out of the blue, Robertson the same, that hunger's dying down, man. And we need players. You know, you look at your Jeremy Docus, for example, who's been heavily linked. Is Karim Adesanya, another player from the Bundesliga that's been heavily linked. Jude Bellingham, another player that looks inevitably going to be coming to Liverpool, hopefully. Don't want to jinx it. I've jinxed a lot with Mbappe, so I'm not trying to jinx this Jude Bellingham stuff right now. Now, listen, these guys will tell you, man, I've been saying for years, Mbappe's coming in, and he's going to Madrid. So I don't want to jinx anything with Jude Bellingham. But, you know, there's a few players that are on the books we could look to sign that I think could take us to the next level. But I don't know, man. If we don't sign anybody in January, I don't know what we do this season, Rich. Honestly, I don't.
Look, you know, I want Prime to come in and talk as well just now. But listen, it's early. It's early days. As a unit, we look stable, right? I know what you're saying about the new signings and whatever. You've got to go with what you go with. You know, you've got to go with what you've got, and you've also. I know Klopp has, but you've got to continue to give these inexperienced youngsters a game of football.
Yeah.
What the kid done the other day, Jones, for what he done the other day, me personally, as a football manager, I would have kept him on the pitch and said to Firmino, hold tight for another 10 minutes and let's see what this kid's got, because he's hungry. This kid's hungry. You know, and I just think the game might have been a bit different, because he would have constantly continued to press Brentford hard. Firmino's come on, and we're expecting him to do the role what he's been accustomed to doing. But you got to think he's got to get back to speed. Curtis Jones was in overdrive. I wouldn't have took him off. So
never.
Listen, we've got a few players that have come back from injury. We just got to see how they gel. We haven't lost.
Yeah.
And we just got to keep on pushing forward. Teams are dropping points left, right, and centre. It'll be a tough season. I'd like to hear Prime and hear about Chelsea.
Give me 1 second. Go on, Prime. I'm just gonna.
Chelsea. We brought in the striker we needed in the summer. However, I think there are certain areas we haven't, maybe not of importance per se for other people, but there are certain areas that we maybe could have addressed for me. Like, I think we need an experienced creator in our forward line. You know, we've got the likes of Havertz and Mount, and Pulisic, and they're all young and up and down. They're inconsistent, and we need someone that can come in, experience, and take things by the scruff of the neck, which we don't have. And when you look at players in Europe that are available, like, Chelsea fans want Sané or Chiesa or the likes. None of them are experienced. Oh, he cut out. He's probably going to come back in. None of them are like experienced creators. We need wing backs, because Chilwell, I think he has he's going through something mental health wise. I think he's going to be phased in eventually within the season. Alonso, he started off bright, didn't have the best game against Man City. It wasn't his fault, by the way. I don't think Man City didn't do anything to expose him per se, but I think he had. Oh, he's back. Is he back?
Yeah. He's on my screen.
I was just saying with Chelsea that we bought our striker, but I think maybe not as a priority per se, but I think maybe in January, even the summer, next summer, we need to address certain areas, bring in an experienced creator, because we have our forward line, take away Lukaku, our forward line is young and inconsistent. They're so up and down. Havertz and Mount haven't started off the season that great. I think we need quality within our deliveries from wide areas. If we had bought Hakimi, that would have been a massive upgrade for us. As much as I don't rate Trent that highly, his delivery from wide areas is phenomenal. Same at Robertson. If we had that sort of quality, it would upgrade us to a different level completely. Our defense situation, Rudiger, he could leave under free this summer. Thiago Silva's 37 now. That's two from our back line, and all of a sudden we need to rebuild again. So I know a lot of Chelsea fans are gassed, and they were saying things like unbeaten or whatever, or trebles. We might be in a great moment right now, but if we don't fix things or address things soon, we might not be able to sustain this supposed greatness, because I can see it falling apart quite easily, which I don't want it to. And also, we're Chelsea. Tuchel can go through, we can lose 5 games and he can get sacked. So, we're that sort of club where we'll just react whether it's the right thing to do or not. And if Tuchel gets sacked, there is no other world-class manager around that I personally would want at Chelsea. You know, I rate elite level tacticians, and you know, like, yeah, and I don't see anyone out there that would suit us. So, which is unfortunate, but I don't know. Maybe it's even me overthinking. I mean, he's going to come back in. But O'Shea, do you agree with anything I've said in relation? Or O'Shea's gone. Silky Skills. Do you agree with anything I've said in relation to Chelsea, or am I just overthinking?
No, I think. Listen, we've all got our opinions, haven't we? It's never. I don't think it's ever about overthinking. You've got to overthink as a football supporter. You have the tendency to overthink, but you've got to rely on the tactician. Like you said, you've got to rely on your manager. And if you have looked at him individually and said, you know what, this guy is a great tactician, you know, that's something to build on. You know, he's not just a name. He's got something about him, and he's proved that already. You know, but I think what you're saying about wide areas, if you have someone with the delivery of, like you said, Robinson and Trent firing balls in at Lukaku, you think of how many other goals that you're going to get. You know, you've got your maestro, haven't you? Your maestro, your little midfielder, who's the maestro.
Jorginho, yeah.
The French kid as well, the little, what's his name? Ante. You know, I mean, absolute superstars. But you can see beyond that. You know, you can see, you mentioned Rudiger and Silva. Right now, people are saying they're having a great season. But I don't want to say it. I don't even want to say it, but wow. It's a bit loose in the back of Chelsea. I know they've had a few good games, but I can see things happening. I can see things going on. Yeah, the recruitment's needed, definitely. But so far, so good. Again, so far, so good. But a lot of people are saying they're just relying on Lukaku. A lot of people are saying it.
Well, we are. We are. Because thus far, we haven't, like I said, our forwards have been poor. And, like, I don't know, maybe part of it is a gelling thing, maybe part of it is personnel, but our forwards have just been so poor. And for me, we can't constantly be relying on Lukaku. And I know people can say big games, you know, he didn't score against Liverpool or City or whatever. Like, for me, I don't care about that.
Let's not forget, he got put spliff by Matip. He got put in a spliff by Matip.
And Salah, Mane, and Firmino got put in a spliff by. Yeah, we can do all that. But for me, with Lukaku, big games don't matter because Chelsea will score anyway. But it's the thing of, against these lesser sides where Lukaku is supposed to be scoring, if he has an off day or we don't create enough chances, how are we going to win? Against Aston Villa, we only created 2 chances for him and he scored 2. On a different day, maybe he scores one of those 2 chances, or on a different day, say Villa put one of their chances away and we end up drawing the game or we end up losing. You know, we can't constantly just be relying on Lukaku. Everyone else has to turn up, and they haven't thus far. Which is frustrating because City, as poor as people can say they've been thus far this season, they can go on a winning run of 12 to 18 games and win the league. Liverpool, provided their players stay fit, they can go on a winning run from 12 to 18 games. Chelsea haven't proven that yet. As great as we probably were when Tuchel came in, and I get it was just him first time coming into the club and stuff, we weren't that great at certain periods, you know. There were certain games where we drew where we definitely should have won, but our players just, you know, and I've been saying this, these players I just don't trust yet. And maybe it's going to take another season, so we're not ready this season to win the league yet. And I'm fine with that. But I know what Chelsea fans are like. And if we don't win the league this season, after all the hype and gas and build-up they've given it, they will turn on Tuchel. You know, I've already seen some fans turning on him a bit because they're not playing. He's not playing players that they love, and I'm just like, this is one of the best managers in the world, and you're going to turn on him. And if he gets sacked, Chelsea, I don't see what else we do. Like, who do we bring in?
Yeah. So final. Sorry, go on, Rich. Go on, bro. Sorry.
No. I was just going to say everything what Prime was saying. Yeah, he's right. You're right in what you're saying, and the fear is there that the crowd could easily turn on your manager, and you know, if you look at it deep down, who would you really out? Who else would you bring in? Who would you feel if with another manager? I think everyone now. There's a few managers under pressure right now, but Chelsea have got to be happy with what they've got right now. Yeah. And like I said, if they stay in the race and end up even in Champions League for this season, it's a good season because, like you said, you've already identified that you need changes.
Yeah,
you've identified that. So, and I remember when everyone used to say about Liverpool being a one-man team with Gerrard. Gerrard knew that weren't the case, but to a lot of people it looked that way. But he knew he had to bring others into the game. But it did look like he was a one-man team, but we knew we had more about us. So that driving force, you need that driving force. If you can't find that driving force within your team, that's when the fear's gonna kick in even more because you're thinking, who's driving this team? You know, up front for Chelsea, if no one's driving the team, if Lukaku's had the off day or he's been played off the park, you know, who's gonna drive his?
That's my worry with Liverpool right now. Is that what Salah's slowly becoming? Is Salah slowly becoming that guy that we're sort of relying on now? Because Mane doesn't seem to be getting goals. Firmino isn't getting goals. Jota's good. Jota's great, but he's still a young new player at Liverpool. Is Salah becoming that guy that, you know, we're relying on to just win us games, to get us goals, to do anything? I
don't think that's the to a lot of the crowd it might seem like that, but no, I think give the kids a game. You know, like I said, Curtis Jones is most probably the most hungriest footballer out there right now.
Yeah.
So keep them hungry, keep them, you know, give them the game. Mane, he just needs to listen. Once he gets going, he'll be on fire. He'll be on fire. I don't think they'll be just relying on Salah. I don't think it'll get that way. But look, it's early days. It's just early days right now, and a lot of people will panic right now for a number of. Well, for all of the teams, look what's happened to Arsenal. You know, over the weekend, everyone thinks they've won the league. You know, they've beat Tottenham. Tottenham aren't playing well. You know,
listen, I'm gonna say something outlandish. I'm gonna say something outlandish, Rich. But if you watch the show, then you'll know I say quite a lot of outlandish stuff. But watching Arsenal versus Tottenham is like watching Paralympic boxing. It's not like it for me. Bro, it is, man. It is, bro. For me, it's the battle of two dead clubs. None of them are warriors. They gave it a go, but it's not, bro. For me, Arsenal versus Tottenham is a dead fixture now. I don't care about the North London derby. I'm more excited about West Ham versus Chelsea than I am about Tottenham versus Arsenal. They're two clubs that are going nowhere. Tottenham, let me just have a little rant for a second. I'm sorry about this. Tottenham, where this grand delusion comes from, that they are bigger than what they are. Let me tell you something, Tottenham fans. You're on the same level as Everton. The difference is Everton was one of the pioneers of football. Yeah, you've won 19 major trophies in your history. Everton have won 17. You're on the same level as Everton. The difference is Everton were one of the pioneers of football, so they're respected. Arsenal, third most successful club in the Premier League. Your last major trophy was 2004. Stop it. Yeah, no one cares about the FA Cup anymore. You're a dead club. Like, for me, Tottenham versus Arsenal is just dead, man. It's just, I'm sorry, I had to just say that because I'm seeing a lot of Arsenal fans on Twitter, and I'm not atting people like Kesh and these man, because these men are real guys and they talk a lot of facts. But some of the Arsenal fans that are going on, like, we're back and Arteta this and Arteta that. I mean, give it a rest, man. They're dead food, man. They're dead food. They're finished. Mid-table club.
Why? This is.
Okay.
Let's see, O'Shea finds any opportunity to talk about Arsenal.
Okay, let's just go back to the original opening of what you said. Paralympians are absolutely amazing. We'll just move on. Arsenal.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean any disrespect to Paralympians.
No problem. I'm just saying. Arsenal, Tottenham. Yeah. We'll finish 7th and 8th.
Yeah. Nah, they also.
Do you know what I mean? That's good for them.
Let's move on from that before this gets shut down. Before we end it, just a final question for you, Mr. Silky Skills. What are your thoughts on FSG?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I haven't looked too much into it, but look, if an organisation wants to come and take over to make a club a lot better, you've got to give them that respect first and foremost. We've won the title. We've won this. More needs to be done. More needs to be done.
Go on, Rich. Go on. Carry on, bro. Sorry. I'm done now. I'm done.
As supporters, we just have to. You have to just live in hope that they can continue to provide for the club to be successful. But right now, under the rain, we've won things. We've bought players. We're in a good position right now. And long may it continue. But everyone knows that run the clubs, they have to do the utmost to keep everyone happy.
So, are you FSG in or FSG out?
I'll let Shea take over.
Listen, if there's any Middle Eastern businessmen out there that are watching this show, and if you guys want to come and buy Liverpool, feel free to do that, man, because I'm done with these guys. Look, you won as a Premier League. No, you didn't. Jurgen Klopp did, and the 11 players that went out on the pitch. You brought in Jurgen Klopp. Well, what do you want me to do? We're a big club. We expect to have a manager like Jurgen Klopp. We shouldn't be dealing with Roy Hodgson's and Brendan Rodgers. No disrespect to Brendan, he's a fantastic coach, but we're bigger than him. So we should have proven winners coming in and managing our club. At the end of the day, they messed up with the whole trying to patent the Liverpool, trying to trademark Liverpool as a name. They messed up with the Super Cup or the European Super League. They've messed up with ticket prices, trying to charge 70 plus whatever money for ticket prices. For me, as much as I'm grateful for a lot of what they've done, they've also done a lot of toxic things for the club as well. And unless we sign Adeyemi and Doku in January and then Jude Bellingham in the summer, I don't see what else they can do to redeem themselves right now. So I'm FSG out as it stands right now. I'm open to change, but right now I want them gone. I'm sorry, I want them out of the club.
I'm FSG in. They, you do remember, they won you guys your first title. Jurgen
Klopp did, and the players did.
Part of the reason why you have Klopp. Are you frozen?
Silky's gone. Is he coming?
Yeah, he is. I think he'll be back in a sec. Probably the connection. But they're part of the reason why you have Klopp.
Maybe. I think Jurgen Klopp said himself, he came to Liverpool because of the hunger and the determination and the love and support from the fans. Obviously, the model of FSG suits Klopp because he doesn't really like to be at a club where there's a lot of money being spent. He likes that sort of having a director of football there. So yeah, maybe they were a sort of leading factor into why we got Jurgen Klopp. But at the end of the day, whether they were or weren't, having a manager like Jurgen Klopp is a given for Liverpool. Look, no club is entitled to win anything. Not Liverpool, not United, not Chelsea, not City. No club is entitled to win trophies. Let me make that clear. By no means am I being arrogant. You have to earn that. We didn't earn it last season. You have to earn even the League Cup, the Charity Shield. You have to earn to win 3 points. You're not entitled to 3 points. If you're a club like Liverpool, you're a club like Manchester United, you're a club like Real Madrid, a club like even I'd say, Barcelona, Juventus. Those type of clubs there are entitled to have world-class managers. Our size demands that. We shouldn't be dealing with Roy Hodgsons and Brendan Rodgers. So what do you want me to do? That's like a girl who's been beat up by her husband, and then she gets a new fella and he doesn't beat her up, and she goes, "Thank you for not beating me up." Well, no, it's a given. You shouldn't beat up your wife. Do you understand me? It's not something you need to give a pat on the back for. I don't need a gold star because I don't beat up my girlfriend. It's something I shouldn't do. Do you understand where I'm coming from? It's the same thing. You don't need a gold star because you employed a world-class manager. We're a world-class team. We weren't performing like a world-class team, but we are a world-class club. Why do we need to pat them on the back for giving us something that we should have already had? I'm sorry, but yeah, that's my closing statement. That's my closing statement. Look, we do need to cut this short because I'm on a bit of a tight schedule. So, Silky, where can we find you? Where's your socials? What's your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter? Where can we find you?
Yeah, I mean, everything's at Mr. Silky Skills. It's Instagram, Twitter. Again, you know what, to be honest with you, I haven't been big on social media. It just ain't my thing, but due to my youngest daughter, Malia, she's the one that put me on Instagram and things like that. Yeah. But I'm just happy doing what I'm doing. I really
she does music, doesn't she? Do you want to give her a shout out or anything? Because she does music. If you want to promote her socials, that's fine by me. Is it Alia that does the music? Yeah.
Yeah, hey Gabriella. She's getting into her music as well, and she's got a few things going.
Right. So where can we find her socials? Where can we find her music socials where she's promoting her platform?
She's just basically Instagram, and then from there you can just chat to her. Hey Gabriella.
Okay.
Yeah, she actually shared out she shared out the stream on Instagram on the first exam stuff. So yeah, I put it up on the Instagram story. People who follow us there can go out and check it out. And also I have your Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube in our description below as well.
Yeah, that's it. That's the three that I'm not big on YouTube, but a lot of the kids always say to me, how many subs have you got? And I'm like, I would have had millions, but I've never been into it. So it is what it is. My work's been focused on crime prevention and working with young people rather than getting millions of views on YouTube. So that's the difference between me and others. So I'm happy.
But look, we'd love to have you back on the show again. We'd love to get you back on the show again. With me being in Liverpool as well, Rich, maybe we can do a live stream or a YouTube show in the same room, man, because I'm not far from where you are. So hopefully in person we can do some work as well, man.
We can get your live reaction when Everton beat you this season.
What was that?
He said we can get your live reaction when Everton apparently beat us this season.
Yeah. That won't be happening.
No.
That won't be happening.
Okay. Stranger things have happened, Liverpool have won a Premier League title. Stranger things have happened. Yeah. Let's end the show. Thank you, Mr. Silky. Skills for coming on.
Let me just give out the socials quickly. Sorry about that, Prime. Look, you can catch Mr. Silky Skills. It's all one word, Mr. Silky Skills on Instagram. Follow him, share him, check out what he does. you know, like you said, he works with some incredible people. John Farnworth, you know, Jeremy Lynch. He's a big timer, man, a serious legend throughout the city of Liverpool, man, and he's a genuine guy. Yeah, like he said as well, his daughter does music as well, so her socials are there as well. We'll put her socials in the description. You can catch me on Shea J_O. That's my Twitter handle. Prime's Twitter handle is LADIMUS Prime as well. You can catch him on First 11 XI. So yeah, man, big up the people, big up Mr. Silky Skills. It's an honor to get you on the show, man, and we'd love to have you on again. We thank you so much for for coming on to the show, man.
Thank you very much. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
keep up the good work.
Yeah. Oh, we try, man. We try. But yeah, man, listen, I've been O'Shea. I've been the outlandish one. You can catch me in your gal's yard. See you, man, later. Boom.
More time. Bless.